Hey, what is up, everybody? This is your boy AJTRIP with That's a Shoot, my weekly episodic show. We'll talk about what's going on in the world of professional wrestling. And we've got two big stories to talk about in the world of professional wrestling. One that is just broke yesterday, and of course the big breaking news of Brock Lesnar coming back at Summerslam. But first, let's get into the WWE new deal with ESPN. So I have an article here from Variety that I'm going to read, and then we'll talk about it. Headline: ESPN gets headlock on WWE live events like WrestleMania in new U.S. rights deal. Content to roll off NBCU's Peacock. Tentpole wrestling events to debut on ESPN standalone streamer in 2026 by Brian Steinberg. ESPN and WWE are about to get in each other tighter holds. Under a new 5-year deal, ESPN's soon-to-launch streaming outlet will start in 2026, becoming the exclusive U.S. home of all WWE top live events, including WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, and Survivor Series. WWE will continue to produce all the events which have in recent years been shown via NBC Universal's Peacock. ESPN will also have the option to stream pre- and post shows tied to the events, 10 in all. The events may be simulcast on certain linear ESPN venues. WWE events are an extremely popular form of entertainment and have stood the test of time, says Jimmy Pitaro, chairman of ESPN, in a recent interview. ESPN always wanted to expand its audience, he says, and WWE is going to help us get younger. It's going to help us get more diverse. It's going to help us bring in more females. Pitaro says he expects both Disney and ESPN to create other kinds of programming tied to WWE, which can include alliances with NBA stars Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who is a partner with ESPN in the UFL, or Pat McAfee, the afternoon show host who has ties to WWE. The new ESPN streamer is slated to debut in the weeks ahead in the weeks ahead. See, this is written kind of weird. The new ESPN streamer is slated to debut in the weeks going forward, ahead of the next NFL season. I put that going forward in. ESPN relied on a similar sports concept, UFC, to help win new consumers to its ESPN Plus broadband outlet. Now it would help tap WWE, which, like UFC, is a part of TKO Sports. UFC's alliance with ESPN has resulted in the Mixed Martial Arts League, quote, finding a new and expanded audience, unquote, says Mark Shapiro, president and chief operating officer of TKO. Getting on board with the new ESPN service at an early stage is really an opportunity we didn't want to pass up. WWE and ESPN have also tested alliances in the past. During the coronavirus pandemic, when live events were scuttled due to concerns about contagion, WWE granted ESPN the rights to show classic WrestleMania telecasts to help fill its programming schedule. The longer-term relationship helped spur this new WWE pact, says Nick Khan, WWE's president. The conversations were quick and they were robust in spirit. He says, we think our entire audience will travel and grow substantially. The new rights pact will broaden WWE's portfolio. The company will stay in business with NBCU and its wrestling spin-off, which will show Saturday Night's Main Event and Friday Night SmackDown, respectively. Netflix will be able to stream Monday Night Raw globally and SmackDown and the premium live events outside of the U.S. The chance to coordinate WWE's signature events across Netflix and ESPN was attractive, says Shapiro. These are the two most prominent brands in all of sports and entertainment. Two supernovas, if you will, he said. The executives declined to discuss the financial terms of the new deal. And the alliance could serve to bolster ESPN as it faces the end of its current rights deal with UFC. The pact ends in 2025. We take a ton of pride in how we've helped grow the UFC, and we're always proud to partner with TKO in some capacity. And I also anticipate ongoing discussions with Mark and the team about meaningful ways that we can work together, says Pitaro. Whether those business relationships are tied to events, highlights, or other content remains to be seen, but Shapiro says the partnership between UFC and ESPN is a priority for us, with a track record that has been too strong. Okay, so that was from Variety. I'm gonna take a look here at Bleacher Report. Um, I'm not going to read the entire thing because it's probably going to be the same thing, but one part in this article, written by Mike Chiari, he says, per CNBC's Alex Sherman, the pact between WWE and ESPN is for a total of $1.625 billion over 5 years, which equates to $325 million annually. So let's see, yada yada yada. Here, it isn't clear yet if the WWE library will stay on Peacock, migrate to ESPN or another streaming service, or perhaps live on WWE's multiple YouTube channels, since the company has been uploading full premium live events and other archive content onto YouTube regularly for the past 7 months. Um, so yeah, and I think that's pretty much it. And then there was some other stuff that came out yesterday as well, because when this deal was announced, and it was announced that the streaming service was going to be $29.99, many wrestling fans were upset. They were upset because it was, like they've been paying. They had the WWE network, and they were paying $9.99 for that. That has gone away. They have to pay for Netflix to watch Raw, and now they were playing on Peacock, which was like anywhere from $5 to $11 or something like that, depending on the tier that you got. And then now you're saying you have to pay $29.99. So that doesn't care. Now, there's been some clarification on that a little bit, where it seems as if that if you have a cable outlet, if you have DirecTV, if you have a streaming service that already has ESPN on it, then you will already have the ESPN direct to consumer streaming platform. You will already have that. Um, and there's also another report there that says that for certain cable companies like Xfinity or Spectrum, that it doesn't know that if that's actually the case as of yet. They still may be um, doing some backstage stuff with that, behind the scenes stuff, but they're trying to get that settled. But it does look like that if you have a cable service or a streaming service already, you're not going to have to pay that $29.99 for it. And also, then another thing that people are running, because they're just wrestling fans are just thinking about wrestling, right? But the $29.99 isn't just for wrestling. It's for the whole ESPN package. You're gonna get more things than just wrestling. I mean, ESPN also announced yesterday that they are made a deal with NFL to have things like the NFL Network and the Red Zone channel on this direct-to-consumer platform, um, that they are coming out with. So you're gonna get NFL. I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of other stuff as well, because they're in bed with with hockey, with the NBA, with the NHL. Um, doesn't look like they're gonna be with MLB, because like talks are broken down with them. But and we just mentioned UFC, so there are gonna be other things on this platform, which is why it's going to be $29.99 um, to pay for it. So I know some people look at it. Some people are saying, "Well, I don't watch any other sports or anything like that, so I just want to watch wrestling." Well, that's just not the case. And there are some people saying that they're going to get a VPN so that they can watch, you know, stuff on Netflix. They're going to change their location and do all of that stuff, which is, I guess, is fine. This is not something for me. It's something that I would ever do. But yeah, I mean, I like this. I like this, especially if it is going to be, if the rumors are true, and you're just going to be, and it's just going to be able to, you don't have to pay for anything extra. It's just going to be on a cable or ESPN, and you can just log in using your login information for Xfinity, which is what I have. That would be so awesome, and I think that would be good. And this is a brand new day. There are certain things that just I think would take wrestling to another level, and I think this is one as well. And I also think what this kind of stands for is that even though we've got WWE on Netflix, I think maybe at some point they will, if this thing with ESPN works, I think you could definitely see where maybe they would go away from Netflix and just put everything on ESPN, which is great because it's ESPN. It's an entertainment sports programming network, and WWE is wrestling entertainment. There's a thing there with the E. So I think this is a fantastic spot for WWE. I think this is great for business. I think the fans are, right now they're a little bit like, but I think they're going to use to it. I don't think they're going to be, everybody who's right now saying they're not going to pay $29.99 for something. Well, one, you may not have to do that. You may not have to pay extra for it. If you just have, again, if it's on your, if ESPN is already on your streaming platform, you may get it automatically, get it quote unquote for free. Or even if you don't, you're gonna get it anyway. You can't stop watching wrestling. Can't stop watching the WWE. It's just not like you've been watching it all your life. You're just gonna stop now just because because $29.99. Yeah, we are in a tough economy. It seems like everything is raised, but there are certain things that that you can take away from your enjoyment. The things that get you away from the rigors and the harsh realities of the real world. It's something that you shouldn't sacrifice. You know, and if it's if it's does the WWE get you away from the real world, then don't sacrifice that. You know, unless it's something where you are really, really, truly living paycheck to paycheck, and maybe you can afford the $9.99 for Peacock, or you can afford the $11.99 for Netflix or whatever. But you can't add another $29.99 on it. Maybe I understand that, but I think for the most part, if you're a WWE fan, again, you may not have to pay for it all because you may be watching on the service that will have it, quote unquote, for free. But I think this is, I don't think you can take it off, and I don't think many people will. I think when it comes down to push and shove, they'll go ahead and they'll take it. So, but yeah, I think this is a great thing for WWE. I think this is a great thing for the business, and I think this is to be a partner with ESPN. I think it's a tremendous thing, and I think it's gonna work out pretty well for them, and that's good. And to kind of segue into to the next one, um, kind of interesting that now the new partners with ESPN. I wonder if ESPN would have a problem with a certain, um, you know, red-faced beast being on their channels in next year. If there was, I don't think they would have done this deal or continued this deal. Now who knows? But we'll wait and see, and we'll go ahead and we'll talk about that. We'll go ahead. Who I'm talking about? Brock Lesnar. We'll get into it next. Okay, so this past Sunday at Summerslam, Brock Lesnar made his return to WWE, shocking the world, and it was incredible. It was something that many people did not expect. I think there was a slight rumor that he might be showing up, um, but I don't know if anybody truly really thought that or believed that because of the indication of him being named 44 times in the Janelle Grant lawsuit to Vince McMahon and WWE. And when the lawsuit first came back, was I won't say first came out, but when it was because one came out like around 2022, 2023, I don't know. I can't remember when. I remember 2022 because that's when Triple H fully took over. Um, but I think it was, um, yeah, it was in January 2024 when the lawsuit came back out and it had actually named him 44 times in that lawsuit. That's when WWE kind of put the hold on him because there was rumors that they were going to have him be in the Rumble, Dominic Mysterio throw him out. Then he was gonna have a match with Dominic Mysterio at the Elimination Chamber, and then at WrestleMania 40 it was going to be Brock versus Gunther. Um, but because of that, we haven't seen Brock since. I think his last appearance was the 2023 Summerslam where he wrestled Cody, I believe. So he can't, and then he comes back 2 years later at SummerSlam. And apparently, what Michael Cole said on Raw was that Nick Khan um, and Triple H called Brock, wanted him to, said it was time for him to come home, and he said, "Let's do it." So now there have been things out there that have been said. There was something Triple H on the post game show said that he kind of intimated that it was John Cena's idea. John kind of crushed that and said that no, he just the WWE deals the cards and he plays them. So you said that, and then there's a lot of other things too about him being cleared or anything like that. It doesn't seem like that he's been quote unquote cleared. Because first of all, let's get this out of the way. Just because he was named in the lawsuit doesn't mean that he is a part of the lawsuit. The suit is towards Vince McMahon and WWE. That's one. Two, these are allegations, right? These are allegations. And you're innocent until proven guilty. And in this type of thing, where this is not a criminal case, this is a civil case, we will never know, never know the guilty or innocence, because most of these civil cases are settled out of court. Just because the person who's being sued most of the time doesn't want to have to deal with the entire thing. Now that doesn't mean that Brock was not, that Brock is quote unquote innocent, right? It doesn't mean that, and it doesn't mean that this woman is a liar. I'm not saying that. That's not what I'm saying. The way I go about this, and the way how I do this, I always say that I go by what the law says, and you're innocent to proven guilty. If you turn out to be guilty, you're guilty, right? If you're proven to be innocent, you are innocent. Now again, like I said, this is not a criminal case. This isn't going to say about someone's guilt or someone's innocence. So for me, I don't have an opinion on this. And I know a lot of people do. There are a lot of people that feel there's no need to have him here. There's no need for this to be happening. There's no need for him to ever be in the WWE ever again. Then there are some people who are like, come on now, this is Brock Lesnar. This is one of the biggest names ever in the wrestling business. Of course, he should be doing this. Just because he was named in a lawsuit doesn't mean he did anything wrong. Yada yada yada, things like that. And I understand where everybody's coming from. Again, like I said, me personally, I wasn't there. I don't know, and I'm not gonna make an opinion about it any way it goes. Right? Am I happy to have him back? In a way, yes. In a way, yes. I am happy to have him back. Because I think he is a tremendous performer. There are so many matchups that we could have with Brock. We could have Brock versus Gunther. We could have Brock versus Obafemi. We could have Brock versus Braun Breaker. Brock versus Bronson Reed. Yes, it looks like at some point we may even get Brock and John Cena. There are so many things that you could do that could be great. It could be great television, tell a great story. It'd be perfect for the WWE, and I think it's wonderful. yeah, I do understand that not everything that happened, because what if there is some smoking gun? There is like it is not allegation. It is a legitimate proof of him, asking for something sexual from this woman, or him and Vince, colliding on a quote unquote, um, trying to quote unquote sexual traffic this woman, right? Using her as a way to get him to re-sign with the WWE and everything like that. You know, how did that look, right? Because then you brought this back when this could happen. You brought him back. You're on one of the big, one of the biggest roles that you ever are. You're making business has been booming ever since Triple H took over, and and it's such a great thing that is happening. Um, and you don't want to stall that. And listen, I've said this a couple times on this channel about Vince McMahon. That again, Vince is in the same thing. These are allegations. There's innocent to proven guilty and things like that. But one reason why I was happy and I wanted Vince to be removed is because I didn't want the thing with the thing with WWE to be halted because of him. Because we were finally at an era where people were not lying to themselves. They were not lying themselves about that, about how AEW was a better company and AEW is better and all this and that, and it was all bullshit. Bullshit since they came on the line to 2019. People were finally saying, people were trying to saying it and saying it out loud that WWE is so much better than AEW, and AEW has no chance. There's no chance. At least the smart people were saying that. There's still a bunch of people saying that AEW is competition. They're not. I wish people would stop that. But it was really going out that yes, this is the place that you want to be. You want to be in WWE. You want to be, there. This is what's going to make you a big star, and this is what's going to make you the whole amount of money. This is what you're going to get good creative, good things to do, right? And you're going to work for a guy. Triple H is going to listen to you, and not just, and he's going to book what he wants to book, but he will, do it so that it's not, he's not, as many people would say, you're not booking for the for one man, which is what most people think Vince was. Vince was booking for Vince. He wasn't booking for the fans. Triple H would be booking for the fans, but in a way where he would be booking the stuff he wants to book, but book it for the fans. That's so like that. So and all of that, right? And I didn't want him to hurt that in any way. Because look where we're at. We just talked about WWE being on ESPN. I don't think if Vince McMahon is still there, WWE is on is on WWE. Is on ESPN. I don't think Vince is. I really don't believe Vince. The WWE would be sold to TKO. Or would have joined forces with UFC to create this TKO group. I don't think that would have happened if the stuff with Vince didn't come out. This would still be a Vince-led machine as we see today. And I do worry about that if something comes out about Brock, and it's maybe it's proof, maybe it's worse than anything that was in that lawsuit. What did that do for WWE? How did that look in the PR round? Because many people, and you know what, I won't disagree with them. Many people could have said, at the very least, you could have, if you wanted to bring Brock back, you could have waited until the lawsuit was over and done with, the court case was done and over with before you brought him back. because maybe at some point we would have, at least found out something. We would have, known something, because it's still in the discovery phase, and there could be some stuff that is, very, very detrimental to Brock Lesnar's reputation, and then it would be detrimental to WWE and TKO's reputation as a whole. So I totally understand that. But Brock is back. Some people are gonna like it, some people aren't, and I think that's totally fine. And we'll see how it goes, because everybody was excited on Sunday because this was a surprise. This was a surprise, appearance from Brock. But after a couple of days, with those people, some of our people in MetLife who might have been happy to see him and was, cheering, could they now be, booing Brock, but booing Brock for the wrong reason? Booing Brock not because he F5 the GOAT John Cena, but booing him because they don't want him there. We'll have to wait and see. But Brock Lesnar is back. Like I said, we'll just have to wait and see, and we all should be hoping for the best to come out of this situation, and not hoping for the worst towards anybody, towards Vince McMahon, towards Brock Lesnar, and especially not towards Janelle Grant. Alright, guys, I want to thank you guys so much for watching this special Thursday episode of That's a Shoot. It is happening today on Thursday because, and just as of recording, we are like 28 minutes away from Madden 26 dropping. So I am going to be doing this, get this up and at it, and promote it and everything like that. So I can sit back, relax, and watch and play Madden 26. Oh yeah. And if you are a gamer and you're watching this, please follow me on Kick, follow me on Twitch, follow my YouTube gaming channel. Those links are in the description down below, because at some point in the next week I will be streaming Madden 26 like crazy, and you're going to be wanting to watch it. Alright, now as for why we were here wrestling, post your comments down below. Tell me what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think about the new deal between ESPN and WWE. Are you upset about it? Are you one of those people who maybe have that cables and you are hoping that the rumors about that not needing to pay $29.99 is true? Or are you one of those people who are like, I don't want to pay $29.99, I can't do it? Let me know down in the comment section. And of course, if you have any thoughts about Brock Lesnar, throw some down as well. I will say this, I'm not one to, I rarely am one about censorship. I think if you want to post something, that's fine. However, this situation, if there are any type of crazy comments or any kind of crazy back and forth, I may have to come in and censor and delete some comments and things like that, because you should be able to talk about this like adults. And even though you may be on another side, a different side, it still should not be, going to the lengths that you see some places where people are calling each other names and things like that. I don't think that should be the case. We'll see, but yeah. Alright, guys, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, thank you guys so much for watching. This is your boy AJTRIP signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there, and I am out.